We have a lot of classes in Dead Rails, anything from a guy with a banjo, to a vampire, to a furry cosplayer. But which classes are the best? That's what I intend to find out in today's video, where we're going to revisit every single class, place them on a tier list, and figure out our instant buys. And of course, let me know your favorite class in the comments section below. The musician is one of those classes that, for some reason, a lot of people defend, but I just don't see what its purpose is. It spawns with nothing other than a banjo, and it has the ability to heal nearby allies by playing the banjo. Yes, I'm sure your teammates are gonna love this. In my experience, though, it heals for almost nothing, so you basically just have to walk around, spamming left click with a macro, annoying everyone in your lobby, just to do anything at all for your teammates. And of course, the entire time you are completely defenseless. I really just think that it's a D tier class all around. The miner class used to be one of my favorites in the game. It's extremely cheap, and it's effectively the only class that can utilize the mining system. Technically, you can mine with other melee weapons, but it's just not worthwhile since it takes like a million hits. However, the miner class was extremely nerfed not that long ago, since you now have the ability to buy both the pickaxe and the mining helmet in general stores. And it is a good class, don't get me wrong, but you could pick a better class and then buy the mining equipment later when you come across it. That's the main issue with this class. I think it's great, but it really is a one-trick pony, and you can replicate that one trick with just a couple of dollars. I'm gonna have to probably go with C tier on this one. The Doctor class was one of the first classes added to the game, and with that, I think it still holds up super well. Well, yes, the whole point of the class is that you spawn with a little bit of extra medical supplies, and you can just buy that literally everywhere. I think it's a really solid class, not just because of its super cheap price, but because for newer players, it might just give you that little bit of extra medical supplies that you'll need early game. So for that, I think B tier works extremely well. It's hard to complain about it. I think it's great. I hate the Arsonist class. It was one of the worst classes with nearly zero reason for it to actually exist, but it does have a reason now. The Arsonist doubles your Molotov damage, and while I still don't think it's enough, there's an entire system now in the game where you take fire damage, and it applies like a fire effect that is extremely deadly, but our boy the Arsonist here lets you take 0 fire damage at all. You still do get the other quote-unquote benefits that the Arsonist had before, though with that, I don't think it's an amazing class. I think Molotovs in general overall need a buff. But hey, I'd say it's a probably B tier class now. It's got a much more defined use, and I think it's great. I'm still not going to use it though. Necromancer is a really interesting class that I think everybody wanted to get at first, but like immediately just completely fell off super hard. At its face value, it gives you a 25% chance to revive any enemy that you kill with a melee to have them then fight for you, which sounds great, but the chance feels a lot lower, and melees at this point in the game are at their worst state that they could be in. If it did something like spawned you with a staff that had like a ton of damage or a really far range, then sure, I'd say that'd be great. I think that'd be a great addition to Necromancer. But as it currently sits, it's only as useful as melees are, which are pretty poor at the moment, so I honestly just have to go with D tier. The Packmaster is one of the newer classes in the game, and it has that kind of newer class type polish to it. It's simple, you spawn with a couple of wolves that'll fight for you, and any wolf that bites you becomes friendly and will also fight for you. It's a super niche use case, but I think is one that is a pretty valid playstyle. I think it's a pretty decent B tier in general. Pretty niche, but hey, I'd say pretty good. Cowboy is another fairly simple class. You spawn with anything that you might imagine a cowboy would spawn with. You get a revolver, some ammo, a tamed horse, and it gives you a pretty great head start early game. While you can buy a lot of the stuff fairly early on, and it's not that hard to get a tamed horse, it's another one of those classes that just gives you a little bit of an extra boost early game, which can be great for casual or newer players. And I think for that, it is definitely deserving of another solid B tier. The Alamo actually got a secret buff recently, so if you don't know, the latest update lets you weld weldable objects together, making the Alamo class probably going to be an A tier in my opinion, since you actually get a bit of a head start spawning in with some building materials. By the way, whenever I say latest update, this was recorded months ago, so do with that what you will. The Conductor is a really good class, giving you a sizable speed increase over any other class whenever it comes to train speed, and it gives you 2 starting coal as well, which is always nice. Sadly, you don't spawn with a weapon, but if you have any of the weapon game passes, or if you're playing in a multiplayer game, this class is invaluable to beating the game in a timely manner, and especially with the new wooden cart train thing, you can even get up to 100 miles per hour with that as the Conductor. Yet again, I gotta go with A tier. I think it's a great class, hands down. If you know anything about the Werewolf class, you'll know where this is going. The Werewolf is one of, if not the best class in the entire game because it doubles all of your stats during the night, including health, damage, and movement speed, but at the cost of a 10% decrease of all your stats during the day. A trade that I think is very much worthwhile considering during the day you really don't have many threats to worry about. There's really not much else to say about it. It's just a super overpowered class and I think very well deserving of the first S tier on the list. Highroller is a bit of a weird one though. You get a 50% increase in collected money from money bags, making you basically a portable bank in any multiplayer game, but also a 10 times increase in your chance of getting hit by lightning. But like, just don't go out during a storm? I don't really know why you'd be doing that anyways, but that's pretty much it. I think A tier's gotta be it. Easy money for days. Demolitionist is also one of the newer classes in the game, spawning you with a gun barrel and 4 landmines, all critically dangerous. Or are they? Demolitionist is more than just a man who spawns with explosives. He's a man who spawns with explosives that's immune to explosions. It's basically the explosive equivalent to Arsonist, and I'm kinda honestly all here for it. I just can't give it any more than a B tier, only because of the fact that you're immune to explosive damage. Otherwise, spawning with the explosive items is just kind of cheeks and really shouldn't be part of the consideration when you want to buy this class. The Milkman is interesting. You spawn with a glass of milk, and when you cover yourself in said milk, you get a milk effect applied. And the more milk you're covered in, the higher your stats are, like speed. And it's just really kind of a weird playstyle, if you can even call it that. I'll still definitely go with probably a B tier though, just because while niche, the speed buff can be a huge lifesaver for getting from one place to another quickly. Survivalist is one of the older classes, but it surprisingly hasn't seen any real nerfs that stop it from being a lot of people's favorite class. It doesn't have any special speed abilities or any class unique weapons, but you do spawn with a tomahawk, which is at least slightly better than the default shovel melee. But the best part about Survivalist is its main ability, and that is to do more damage the lower your health stat is. Now this is really great if you end up getting cornered and need to do some insane damage to just get out of there, but it's also great for weirdos who like to play with perpetually low health to maximize their damage. For sure, another S tier in my opinion. Vampire. Oh, Vampire. Also a lot of people's favorite class, and also one that has received a kind of unintended buff not all too long ago. You take damage in the daylight, so you have to be pretty careful, but with the bonus of increased movement speed by a lot, and since you spawn with a vampire knife, which hitting enemies makes you actually heal, combined with the recent melee changes where you swing it like 10 times faster, you effectively have a melee class that cannot die. Super overpowered, insane damage, really fun playstyle that, albeit isn't for everyone, but of course, S tier all day, any day, every day. Hunter is one of the newest classes in the game, and it's kind of a weird one as well, but not necessarily in a bad way. You spawn with a crossbow, which is, to me, at least one of the most useless weapons in the entire game, doing next to no damage, and if anything's up in your face, you're just not going to be able to kill it. But also, it turns all wolves into werewolves. This is great for getting some extra money because you will see a lot of werewolves everywhere. However, if anybody's playing Packmaster in a multiplayer lobby with you, I think it kind of makes their class useless. And I can't go above maybe a B tier, but the only reason is because you can get a lot of extra money with those werewolf bodies. Priest is a pretty cool class. You're immune to lightning and you spawn with 2 holy waters and 2 crucifixes. Now, I'm not really into using weapons like that, but it definitely has its use for a lot of people. But otherwise, I really think it could use maybe some kind of class specific weapon, or at least some other kind of buff beyond lightning immunity. I really do kind of want to go lower, but I think B tier sits probably pretty well with this class, just because I know someone's going to find some weird hyper specific use case to tell me in the comments. President is probably one of the weirdest classes, if not the weirdest class in the entire game, because the whole mechanic is basically to see how many times you can die. Yeah, I don't know either. Whenever you die with this class, it spawns a soldier that basically clears out any zombie or enemies that killed you in the vicinity, freeing up your teammates to come grab you just a little bit easier. But that's pretty much it. Otherwise, enemies can see you from twice as far away, making you not only a bigger target, but a more defenseless one, since of course you spawn with nothing but a shovel and have no other buffs. This class is really only viable in multiplayer, and only with people you trust to actually revive you. I C tier. Anyway. I honestly forgot the zombie class even existed in this game until I was making this video. I just never see anybody with it, but it is in the game, so we gotta talk about it. Basically, it lets you eat dead bodies to heal, but with the downside of you can't use any conventional healing items like bandages or snake oils. You don't heal nearly enough from bodies as you should, so I'm gonna probably have to run with a D tier on this one again. Knight is one of the newer classes, spawning in with a helmet, chestplate, and a sword. There's not much to this class other than the fact that it's just a direct upgrade over having no class at all, no downsides, and some free armor. I'd say A tier. King is a class that requires you to have other knight classes around you. For every knight on your team, you gain more max health and more damage, so you and your friends are going to have to fight over which one of you gets to be super OP. C tier at best, it's completely useless without teammates willing to play knight with you. Tycoon is a niche class, but super interesting. I think it works basically like the more money you have, the more overall damage you do, and more max health that you have. If that is how it works, that's actually pretty overpowered. I'd honestly go with S tier on this one. The horse was a limited time class from months ago. You just play as a horse model with kind of clunky movement. You haven't been able to get it for months now, but for those who do have it, it's not that bad. It's basically just a slight increase over the default class, and that's effectively it. No more than a C tier for me, to be honest. Another limited time class has to be the Eggslinger. Every 2 minutes, you lay an egg that spawns random entities that'll then fight for you, be it outlaws, werewolves, or anything in between. If you save enough of these eggs over your playthrough, your battle with Mr. Tesla will be super simple. The S tier on this one. For the newest class, we have the Corrosioneer. You spawn with a single acid mine, acid barrel, and a gas mask, which makes you immune to acid damage. Now, maybe it's because it's been a while since I played, but I don't really think that acid is a super common way to take damage, so I don't think this guy is that useful. And come on, a single mine? Kinda cheeks. Again, probably C tier, though let me know if this class has any more use that you know of. And lastly, Ironclad, one of the oldest classes in the entire game, and a class that honestly needs some kind of buff. It's a super simple idea. You spawn with a full set of armor at the cost of 10% overall decrease in movement speed. It's a simple idea, it works fairly well, and it's an easy trap for new players to fall into, and honestly, I just think it's a boring class. Definitely have to go with C tier on this armored boy right here. Well, we've done it. We've ranked every single class in Dead Rails. Anyways, that's the list. I'd love to know you guys' thoughts in the comments section below. Do you agree with my rankings, or do you want to peel all of my skin off? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and while you're down there, no doubt threatening my life, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single video. Of course, big shout out to the channel members up on screen. You guys are fantastic. You can become one too with the link in the description below. I'll see you guys in the next one, dudes. Peace.